Welcome back to Stranger Things. You're just in time because we are now in the final stretch of them filming season 5. We only have a couple months left and then all we have to wait on is post-production. That's all the CGI monsters, blood, guts, explosions, and super secret scenes that will most definitely make us shed some tears. Since this is the final season and the long-awaited end to this massive show, I can only imagine who they're going to kill off this time, but I know for a fact that we will not be okay. Steve has survived so long. It would be so sad to see him sacrifice himself to save the kids. They could kill off Will or Eleven, but I am afraid Steve's been in the Duffer Brothers' crosshairs for far too long. Which, speaking of the Duffers, we have a lot to unpack since the last update. Ross Duffer has been busy giving us so many sneak peeks behind the scenes of season 5 at new characters, new locations, new outfits, and looks for the OG characters, as well as their own personal supply of an absurd amount of Tic Tacs. Not only that, but a couple of the other people working on the show have shared some really cool pictures that we need to talk about, specifically some Byler pictures, so make sure you watch until the end of the video. But not only that, we finally have confirmation that they just had the table read for the finale episodes, which is huge. For the longest time, the Duffer Brothers were pretty public about the fact they didn't want anyone to read the ending of season 5.
And we read 6 of the 8 scripts last week, but we purposely did not read the last 2 because we'll do that later because that's going to be very emotional.
Yup, they only let the actors know the first 6 episodes and work purely off of those all the way up until now, which is 75% of their filming. Minus, I think, Millie, Bobby Brown, who snuck into their house and discovered the ending herself, but Gayton just confirmed that on his birthday, September 8th, they finally sat down and read through the last 2 episodes.
We actually read our last episode collectively together on my birthday, and it was really intense. It was a beautiful moment.
This is so exciting, and this means that they will soon be filming that finale for season 5. It's gonna be here quicker than we know it. Now, personally, I think that since they've been so much more sharing with the behind the scenes content this season, I don't know if it's because they're getting emotional that their show's coming to an end after almost 10 years, or maybe it's in hopes of keeping people excited in between seasons they're notorious for taking longer than normal to make. Either way, I think it'd be really cool if they recorded the table read, especially the finale, and released it once season 5 is out. I think it would be a really cool addition to the show to watch, just to step into that window and see the cast reacting to all the twists and turns for the very first time. They did this with Game of Thrones, and since Stranger Things is Netflix's flagship show, I really hope they lean into giving us as much behind the scenes content as they can. Because once this is out, it's over. No more Stranger Things. Well, not entirely. There's still the stage play, the animated show they're working on, as well as the live action spin-off, but you know what I mean. No more main show. Now, starting off strong, we get this awesome pic of Lucas sporting this sick new jacket. Up until now, we really haven't seen that much of Lucas. We mainly got pictures of Mike and Eleven, Dustin, Will, and Steve and Robin. So I'm really happy we finally get a good shot of Lucas. Before this, all we had was a pic of him and Max in the hospital, but we couldn't see their outfits in that one. Next, we see a shot of Millie Bobby Brown and her dog Winnie on the set with Brett Gelman, who plays Murray, in the background. And if you look closely at the monitors behind her, it seems like they're shooting somewhere slightly industrial with shipping containers or those type of walls, possibly at Hawkins' lab with all those upside down vines it looks like are there. Or it could be downtown Hawkins, come to think of it, since the Upside Down is very much coming into Hawkins now. I think it'd be pretty cool to see Murray end up in the Upside Down this season, but I have no idea why he would need to go there. I feel like he would be the last person to want to go to the Upside Down. We also get a quick shot of the back of Dustin's head from inside the radio station van, which no doubt will be their new group vehicle this season. While I'm sure they'll still drive their other cars as well, I love that they've upgraded to something that can fit the whole group all in one car. Because season 3 was a bit crowded with Nancy's car, with Eleven having to sit in the trunk, and then Steve and Robin also having to ride in the trunk. It's like the surfer van from season 4, but bigger. Wait, it's like the RV the kids stole. I know, end of world and everything, but last we saw it, they parked it in the woods at the RV park before they ran into the Upside Down and Nancy one-shot Vecna. So while it might make an appearance in flashbacks or something, I think it's safe to say they upgraded to this. Now, here we have a BTS shot of the Duffers standing behind some fire, and if you look in the background, it seems like there's a pretty big wall with some fencing surrounding them with some industrial lights and possibly a raised overlook on the left. I wouldn't be surprised if this is inside the military compound in downtown Hawkins surrounding the big gaping hole to the Upside Down. And this next picture looks like a nice bloodied up wall after either a Demogorgon or a Vecna fight. I'm really excited to see some Upside Down monsters this season flooding into the real world going on killing sprees. I really hope they don't hold back and they give us way more of that sick gulag fight they gave us. I want that on a large scale this season. Throw in a bunch of military goons and I want to see Vecna leading an army of demo dogs, obliterating the military until 11 shows up. That would be so sick. Go crazy with it. I do wonder with these heavy duty doors if the military is not only trying to keep people out but also keep something in. I wonder if we'll see them do what the Russians did and capture some monsters or some of the Mind Flare to study and run tests on for a year or two. Because you gotta keep in mind, straight out of the gate this season, there's going to be a 1 to 2 year time jump. It'll pick up where we leave off in season 4 for an episode, more likely half an episode or less, just because they have so much loose ends to tie up in season 5. And then they're jumping forward in time. I have no idea how all of this carnage and chaos is going to happen, completely disrupting the town, and then we just fast forward a year. I really hope we get to see some of the town's reaction before moving on, but who knows? Maybe the military will try to capture some demo dogs. Here we have a military dummy, most likely just a stand-in for a dead guy they can drop on the ground so they always know there's a dead guy there. It'll most likely just get fully replaced in post-production, but it would be cool if they were part of the story and they were using them to lure Vecna into a trap or something. Then we have this funny photo of the Duffers out in what looks to be a field next to the radio station, and I genuinely cannot tell if they're both reacting to something bad or thinking really hard, or if they're both just acting out how they want an actor to do a certain scene. But this is hilarious to me. These are definitely my last 2 brain cells every time I realize this is the final season. And next we have an awesome shot of Steve leaning on the van outside the radio station at night. This neon sign in the background behind him looks so cool. I can't wait to see what kind of role the radio station will play this season, because I can't help but feel like it'll end up being used as a major plot point in the story. It kinda sounds nice to have this huge broadcast tower at your disposal for when you need to call your girlfriend in Salt Lake City, or for when you need to blast Kate Bush through every single radio in the area and save a friend. And also, speaking of Dustin, I really hope they give him and Steve some quality duo time together this season. Their chemistry is so good, and I feel like they didn't get to have their moment last season. If anything, they kinda grew apart a little bit. And not just because Dustin was hanging out with Eddie, they seemed like they were getting on each other's nerves a bit more. Dustin's growing up and is going through that teenager phase, and they're hanging out less. They were still great together, but I hope season 5 gives them their time to shine. I almost want to think it might depend on who they end up killing off in the finale. If they decide to have either Mike or Elle sacrifice themselves, I would think they would emphasize more scenes with them together and Mike and the boys. We already know that Will is going to have a much larger role this season, but if Vecna kills him off or he sacrifices himself to take out Vecna, they would definitely give him a lot more emotional scenes, not only with Mike, but Jonathan and the rest of the boys. But if Steve was the season 5 sacrifice, we would get a lot of Mama Steve babysitter scenes and probably a bunch of emotional bonding bits with Dustin. Now, next we get a short behind the scenes video of a massive set. It looks like it's downtown Hawkins, complete with full-size buildings, an absolute unit of a blue screen in the background, and some crazy big effects lights being dangled 40 feet in the air. These, as we can see, will give them on-set realistic lighting effects, most likely lightning in this case, which is exciting because the last time we saw a bunch of lightning was during the concert of the century. Eddie and Dustin on top of the RV in the Upside Down. One of the coolest scenes of the entire season. I wonder if this means we're going to be in the Upside Down version of Hawkins, but since there's no vines all over the buildings, I bet that means that Vecna or the Upside Down is coming to Hawkins. All the lights in the town are going haywire like they do when Vecna's around, and we've got a good amount of armed military on scene. I cannot wait for this season. Now, here we have 2 new additions to the Stranger Things family. Nell Fisher is playing Holly Wheeler this season, Mike's little sister. She's a whole 6 months older than the twins, Aniston and Tinsley Price, who play Holly from season 1 through 4. I'm not entirely sure why the actor switch. I think she looks close enough to Holly and will do a great job though. For being only 6 months older, she does have quite a bit more acting time under her belt, suggesting that Holly will play a much larger role this season than she usually does. This kind of feels like Lucas's little sister Erica coming into the spotlight and now being a contributing member of the group. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do the same thing with Holly now. We also had that nightmare sequence where Vecna showed Nancy the future, and he showed her, her mother, Holly, and Mike all dead. All the other things he showed her came true, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up taking some of her family away from her. Next is Jake Connelly, a surprising new addition to the cast. With season 5, they basically said only the original gang. No new side characters, we don't have time for that. But now here's a brand new character. They must have needed him for something specific, so he'll be gently shoehorned in to help them with that. In the interview welcoming them to the cast, they get asked what ice cream they like, which is a pretty average thing to ask a kid, but then they get asked what their favorite plant is. Are plants going to play a role in the story this season? The casting call description for his character is an 8 to 10-year-old male, any ethnicity, overweight. An outsider with no friends, he is rude to adults and a bully to those his age. I mean, he kinda looks like he'd play a nice character. I have no idea where the plant question came from or if we're overanalyzing it, because we did see some spore clusters in the past they ran into, and there was some concept art for even more upside down plants that never made it into the show. And Ross Duffer posted pictures of even more upside down plants to Twitter or X or whatever, so I think it's entirely possible we might be seeing some of these sprout up in Hawkins if the infection gets bad enough. And now we get a nice little video from Joe Keery and Maya Hawke in the middle of shooting out in the forest, basically asking the fans for questions. I mean, they turn around and say they can't answer anything, which is kind of funny. I mean, we all know they can't say anything, but so much for the Q&A. I really like these costumes they have here. I think it's super weird that they blurred out Robin's t-shirt though, as if it's some kind of spoiler. Sean Levy posted this cool picture of Mike and Robin together, which is pretty rare. I don't think we've had any scenes with them together yet. It would be a really cool team up if we get that, but they blurred her shirt here too. And they're two completely different shirts, which is weird. The red long sleeve tee underneath it and the jeans are identical, but two different white tees, and they're both blurred out. I can't imagine what kind of spoilers they would be other than possibly her favorite artist or singer that was popular in the mid-80s. Someone she resonates with, possibly influencing her character as she tries to get closer with Vicky, or possibly alluding to it being a point of interest in case Vecna comes after her. I mean, she's still pretty in the closet. I don't think she feels guilty about it or in the wrong too much, but Vecna will come after any deep dark secret you have. It would really suck if Robin ends up getting Vecna'd this season. I really hope it's something not as dramatic as that, and maybe it's just artists that will have songs featured in season 5 and they don't want to give that away yet. Because here's this shirt here without the blur. It was also the one she was wearing in this pic too. And here she is in the barn or something with a scarf covering it up. It could be cold out, but I wonder why everyone's going to such lengths to hide these shirts. If anyone recognizes it, feel free to put it in the comments. Same with her other blurred shirt. I think there's a video of her without the blur in this one, but I haven't seen it yet. It looks like we get a couple shots of Jonathan at the radio tower along with Nancy here, as well as Steve here. And let me tell you, the pure joy on their faces as they watch playback makes me so happy. I hope someone is rolling behind the scenes footage for a documentary or something. I feel like there's such good vibes on set with this show. Then we actually had Millie Bobby Brown post some stuff. Looks like another iconic nosebleed, which is exciting. Some cute shots of Winnie, and then this pic of Hawkins' lab with vines all over it. I wonder if the tear from season 2 they closed will be weak and reopen and the vines will come out from there, or if this is in the upside down. Because I hope we really do see the two merge this season. Nancy mentioned that Hawkins was overrun with monsters, but that it wasn't in the upside down. It was their Hawkins. Now, these, I'm not going to lie, are kind of exciting, especially the last one. Now, Noah Schnapp posted a pic of him getting digitally scanned in this outfit, which, weirdly enough, this undershirt is sleeveless. It looks kind of silly, but I wonder if they just got rid of the extra layer of sleeves because it can get so hot when they film in Georgia, but that's besides the fact. Why does he need to get scanned in with this fit? And a backpack, like something traumatic is going to happen to him while he's at school. This is cool to see, but slightly worrying. We're gonna have to keep an eye out for when he's dressed like this again. Now, this next pic is one of the coolest. Mike and Will finally together. Hopefully talking one-on-one, maybe about some hidden feelings or something, who knows. It looks like with the yellow backlight, it'll be at sunset, and I'm pretty sure Eleven will be around at this time while they're dressed like this, so who knows what's gonna happen. I am really curious though to see how the Byler situation plays out. I can only imagine it's just going to make whatever happens in the end that much more emotional for everyone. I need to see if someone can deliver tissue boxes by the pallet before I watch season 5. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video and share it with your Stranger Things friends. I will see you soon in the next one. Peace.